Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new League of Legends video. So one of my favorite things to do on this channel is talk to you guys about some cool new tricks that you can do, especially ones with Zed or Yasuo. And today we're going to be doing just that, looking at some pretty damn cool new Yasuo tricks that you can do, but keep in mind these ones are legitimately quite difficult to do and are very advanced. But thankfully we now have that practice tool, so practicing these tricks should not be a problem. Now I do want to give quick shoutouts to Yasuo main subreddit. I did find these tricks over there, so definitely check that out, especially if you're an aspiring Yasuo main. There's a lot of really great information over there. And more specifically, shoutouts to someone called Saigo and another person called the Jigster. I'll be linking their threads down below in the description if you want to check them out for yourself. Alright, let's not waste any more time, and first let me just very quickly show you the tricks that I'll be further discussing throughout this video. So the first two are kind of utilizing Airblade and Beyblade into one trait to get maximum damage and potential out of it, and you can see there, it looks pretty cool, but also pretty complicated. The second trick here is a slightly different version than the one I just showed you, so this one is also pretty cool but also pretty complicated and very difficult to do. And the third one is utilizing the blast band with QSS to kind of combine what we just saw into another trick to really catch people off guard, but also very difficult to do. So those there are the three tricks. Now if you're good enough and you understand exactly what's happening, then you're probably done watching the video. But if you want a further explanation in slow motion and exactly how you do it and what you do and why and what's good about it, then let's continue. So in order to pull off these tricks, you're gonna have to know two basic versions of them instead, ones that you probably already have heard of or are familiar with, like this one here called the Beyblade. This one isn't all that difficult, but it's one that I'm sure you've seen a lot of Yasuo players do. But just in case you're unfamiliar with exactly how this Beyblade trick works, let's look at it again in slow motion. Once your Q is stacked up, you EQ on the target and you buffer the Q as you flash as well onto the target that you're going, like in this case the second dummy. You knock them in the air, you can get another auto attack in there if you really want to, followed by an ultimate and a Q after that, and you're pretty good to go, and that's the Beyblade. But then there's also the Airblade, which again you combine with the Beyblade to perform those more advanced ones, but this one, pretty simple, I'm sure you've heard of it, but essentially you do this trick in order to get a free stack of your Q as you ult your target. So let's take a look at this one once again in slow motion in case you're unfamiliar. You throw your stacked up Q on a target away from you, then you EQ and buffer the Q again on someone beside you, but before the Q goes off on the first target, you also use your ultimate just before the Q would normally go off so that it goes off on your initial target, which then counts for the stacks towards your actual 3 Q stacks, which then helps you generate your next tornado that much faster. Alright, so the first advanced trick called Sideblade, which is what Saigo named it. According to Saigo, this is a trick to maximize your damage potential using EQ, and after the target is knocked up, flash to the closest target in order to use the Airblade. Definitely a trick you can use for extra style points. But here's how it works. Stack up your Q, EQ on the target, but this time you have to wait for your Q to hit the target, then flash. Wait just a split second, maybe an auto attack, then EQ for the Airblade type trick, and then ult on the target that you initially knocked up. You spin on that target, get that Q stack, get the damage, get your ultimate, and then you can instantly get your third Q once again. Like I said, combining Airblade and Beyblade, two pretty much kind of simple tricks for Yasuo into something that is much more difficult and looks pretty darn cool. The second one, called Keyblade, is pretty much the Beyblade, but instead you get that extra spin, so you get that extra stack of your Q. A little bit more challenging and difficult to do, but if you can get it off successfully, then it's definitely more rewarding. But let's take another look at this one and see exactly what's happening so you better understand it. Remember, the concept is very similar to the one we just talked about. So you have your 3 stacks of Q, you E in the target, you buffer the Q, but this time you want to flash before the Q actually goes off, spin on the target, knock him in the air, wait just a split second, EQ again, but before the Q goes off, you ult, so the Q goes off just as you ult, and you get the free stack of your Q again. It sounds a little complicated when I explain it like that, but hopefully the visuals that pop up on the screen give you a better indication as to what you cast and when. But next, let's take a look at the final and third trick that we're talking about in this video that's combining pretty much everything into one once again, that's shown to us by Jigster. Again, this one is kind of to catch someone off and also for some serious style points, but you need the QSS and you need the blast plant, and it's pretty damn situational, but it's one of those tricks where if you can get it off in a game, my goodness, it's gonna look fantastic. But let's take a look at this one once again in slow motion to get a better idea, as there's quite a bit going on. So again, stack up your Q to the tornado, get a blast band ready to go over the wall, have your QSS ready to go, and do as follows. Jump over the wall, use QSS in the air, which cancels the knock-up effect, which makes you use abilities, E on your first target while buffering the Q like we did in the first two tricks, and flash on the target that you want to kill, knock in the air, followed by an ult and maybe an auto attack, and if you're really fast, you can probably even knock him in the air, get another EQ going before actually going in for the ult for the ultimate Airblade Beyblade combination. This one has to be probably the more difficult one of the three, but regardless, all three are not easy to do. Highly recommend trying them out in a custom game or in the practice tool and getting a better idea. But again, very difficult tricks, and some of them are somewhat situational, but the amount of style points you get from them, and Yasuo is all about the style points, these are probably gonna be one of the best of the best. But there you guys have it. 3 new advanced Yasuo tricks. Very cool, very difficult to do, but a lot of fun and giving you a lot of style points. So as usual, if you ended up enjoying this video and finding it useful, informative, or whatever, then let me know by simply hitting that like button. It'll help me quite a bit. Also, if you were to share this with your friends and just share this in general, that will also help me a lot. So thank you to every single person that does this. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Maybe check out my other videos, like my series with my journey to masters. But regardless, I truly thank all of you for being here and watching, and I really hope to see you for my next video as well. Peace.